Good Sunday morning, everybody. Chris here with High Seas Cruising, and we are going to talk about all kinds of stuff today. We're going to talk about Christmas decorations. We're going to talk about smoking. We're going to talk about costumes, water slides, and should the cruise line be all inclusive? Because we are back trying this for a second week. We're going to do cruise surveys. People ask questions. They claim they're right. They claim everybody agrees with them. They know what everybody wants. So surveys are done and the answers actually come out. Are these people right? Are these people wrong? I love it when we have questions and we have answers. Unfortunately, though, it turns out these people that normally claim everybody wants it, everybody agrees, this is how it should be done, well, quite often, they're wrong. They don't speak for everybody. They don't know what everybody wants. They really just pulled it out of their backside and said, hey, I want it. So obviously, everybody does. But let's get into the questions. Let's get into the answers. And here at the end, I'm going to have a special one because our last one today, it comes with a story and something I don't normally recommend. I don't normally suggest that people should be banned from cruising. But you know what? Honestly, I kind of think this person should be banned. But we'll get to that here at the end. Now, for our first comment today, it was suggested that Carnival Cruise Lines should become all-inclusive, meaning the price you pay for your cruise fare, will it be increased, because you know the price will go up, to include everything from Wi-Fi to drink packages, the gratuities, everything that's part of your cruise, all in one cruise price, and this is what people want. So that brings up the question, is this really something that people want? Do they want an all-inclusive cruise price? Well, let's take a look at the survey. So your two options, it's time for Carnival to go all-inclusive and include internet and or alcoholic beverages in the price of the cruise, or I do not want an all-inclusive and have to pay more money. And you can see the people have spoken and they do not want all-inclusive. And for this one, I'm going to have to agree with the majority. I don't think the cruise line should go all-inclusive because what if you don't use Wi-Fi? Why pay for it? If you don't use the drink package, why pay for it? Why raise the price of the cruise and put stuff on people that they are not going to use? Of course, people are not going to go for that. But I will say that I think it would be a good idea if they offered a package like Princess Cruise Lines does. You know, they have Princess Plus and Princess Premier where you can add on and almost make it an all-inclusive cruise. I think it would be good business for Carnival to do something like that. Carnival Plus, Carnival Premier. They're sister companies, sister cruise lines. Kind of makes sense. Give people the option. This is one of those situations that by simply adding add-on packages like Carnival Plus and Carnival Premier, you could actually make both sets of people happy. So what do you guys think? All-inclusive or not all-inclusive? Next up, let's talk about costumes. Now, these are costumes worn by the cast members in the production shows. So we're not talking Halloween costumes or anything like that. No, we're talking the cast costumes. You go into the main theater, you sit down, you watch an awesome production show, but as you're watching it, you realize you have a problem with those costumes. They're too revealing. They're not family friendly. You don't want your children to see that. Is that what you're thinking? Is that the thought that's crossing your mind? Well, it was crossing this person's mind, so they brought it up. And of course, it was put to survey. And you had the choice. The costumes in the shows are too lurid and not family friendly, or I do not have any problem with any of the costumes worn by the singers and dancers in the show. Well, you can see the people have spoken and they do not have a problem with what the singers and dancers wear. My only response to this would be, you think the costumes that the production cast are wearing in the shows are inappropriate and are not family friendly? I then must assume that you never, ever, in any way, shape, or form, take your family anywhere near the Lido deck, because you will see more on the Lido deck near the pool than you will ever see in a production show. So yeah, I agree with the majority here because I think you are barking up the wrong damn tree. Next, we're going to talk about water slides on cruise ships. Now, there are cruise ships out there that do not have water slides. So, look, if you don't like them, don't want them there, or think perhaps they are an utter waste of space, you have options out there that you can take where water slides will never be a concern. But the solution for people is not to sail somewhere else. It's not to pick another cruise line, but nope, it is instead that they must convince you and the cruise line that they want to sail on that they must change. And that is by saying, guess what? Water slides are only for children and they are a complete waste of space. Now, we do have a survey for this one, but the question that was asked and the survey that was asked, they're not the same thing. Take a look. So it wasn't asked whether or not they were a waste of space. Instead, it was asked, do you, one, love the water parks on the ships, and you do not believe they are only for children, or I have never used any of the water slides on the ship? Now, for this survey, the majority have said, I have never used any of the water slides on the ship. But nowhere in the survey does it ask, is it a waste of space? You see, you could have a family on a cruise, and perhaps whoever answered the survey doesn't use the water slides, but has, let's say, their two children on board, and they use the water slides every single time. So you could answer and say, I don't use them, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you think they should be removed and they're a waste of space. So we will ask the question the way I think it should have been asked was, do you think the water slides are only for children and just a complete waste of space? Or are you fine with the water slides being on the cruise ships? You use them, you love them, or they just don't bother you at all? I think that is a more accurate survey to the statement that was made, but hey, maybe that's just the way I look at it. Now, it is that time of year where Christmas decorations and people who love them and people who hate them comes right to the forefront. You always get those comments this time of year. Stop decorating for Christmas. Nobody likes it. People don't appreciate Christmas decorations. They're rude and offensive. You always get a lot of those. And there's just some people out there that are utterly convinced that Christmas decorations don't belong on cruise ships, and every single person out there agrees with them. So the statement is made. Carnival only needs to decorate for the actual Christmas cruise, not weeks before. It is not appreciated by most people. So most people do not appreciate the Christmas decorations and don't want them there. This is what I find odd, and this is what I find interesting. See, a couple weeks ago, Carnival Cruise Lines put out their annual Christmas decorations when they were going to be put on the cruise ships. And there was a big response about that because several of the cruise ships were decorating a little bit later into December, not right after Thanksgiving. So the largest outcry in the comments wasn't that Christmas decorations were going up. It's that they had a cruise after Thanksgiving and the ship was not going to be decorated for Christmas. I find it odd when there's a exuberant number of people going, hey, where's my Christmas decorations? Yet someone's got a statement that says they shouldn't be there and they're not appreciated by most people. So, of course, we got to have a survey. Let's find out who's right. All the people that wanted them there earlier, or this person who says they're not appreciated by everybody. Where do you think this is going to land? Well, surprise, surprise. Turns out that people are very glad that Carnival cruise ships are decorated for Christmas and the holiday season. And this is a huge majority of the people who responded, with just a little bitty group of people that said Carnival should only decorate for the actual Christmas cruise and not the weeks before. So I guess the statement that it's not appreciated by most people that Christmas decorations are up, well, that's not everybody, and of course it's not true. And for our last survey today, we are going to talk about everybody's favorite subject, smoking on board cruise ships. This is a controversial subject because you either love it, you hate it, it's one side or it's the other. And those that have their opinions on the subject, they hold those opinions firmly. And nothing wrong with that. Everybody has the right to their opinion. But I'm going to say this much about this. It's their house, it's their rules, and nobody is making you get on a cruise ship. You have a choice to vacation somewhere else. And that goes for everything on board a cruise ship, whether you like it or you don't. Remember, nobody makes you be there. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's their house, their rules, and that's what we got to go with. Now, not everybody likes that. And this one here comes with a story. And after we go over the survey, I'm going to tell you the story and why I think maybe this person should have been banned right then and there. And yeah, it's all over their reaction to smoking. And what question prompted the survey? There has to be a smoking lounge during the refueling of the ship. It is unfair for smokers. So this is not a new fact. This is not a new story. This is not new information. If you are on a Carnival cruise and that ship is refueling, there is no smoking on board the ship. If you cruise Carnival or have cruised Carnival in the last couple of years, you know it. Yet these people will continue to board the cruise ship early, try to get on very first, want to be the first person on board the ship, but then they're the first one to complain about a situation just like this. Now, this does not say anything about I am diamond or I am platinum, but good God, I am willing to bet some cash money that this person is either one of those two. I'm willing to bet that they got on the ship early, knowing the refueling rule, knowing it was going to be an issue for them, yet still caused a scene, a situation, made a statement, had a survey. And of course, we have to answer the question, are they right? Must Carnival create a smoking lounge during refueling because it's just unfair? Do the people agree with that? Well, holy crap, wouldn't you know it? The majority of people say, I understand and agree with the smoking rules during embarkation and agree with them. With just a tiny group saying, I do not agree with the smoking rules during embarkation. Keeping in mind that the solution for those who don't agree with the rules is don't board the cruise ship early. Board later on in the day, refueling is over, and it's never a problem. But that's too easy of a solution. Instead, they want an early boarding time and they want to create problems. And when I say problems, I mean problems because it is a problem that actually created the survey. So it is now story time. We have Carnival Cruise Line's brand ambassador, John Heald. He is in New York. He is on board the Carnival Venzia for a couple of hours on embarkation day. He's filming some videos. He's meeting some passengers. He's shaking hands, taking pictures, kissing babies, doing all the things a brand ambassador does when he hears out of his ear somebody over at the guest services desk yelling, screaming, hollering at crew members. Being the man that he is, he says, I will go over there. I will intervene. I will have this passenger instead yell at me so they are not yelling at crew members. Let's see if we can find answers. Let's see if we can find a solution. And this passenger says to Carnival Cruise Line's brand ambassador, Carnival must have a smoking lounge for when the ship is refueling during embarkation because it's unfair and we need a place to get away from your fat face. All because they could not smoke during the refueling process. So, in my humble opinion, yeah, I think if you were a cruise passenger and you come on board the ship and it's embarkation, the ship has not even left yet. Your cruise hasn't even pulled away from the dock yet. And you are down yelling and screaming at customer service. And then another crew member, or in this case, the brand ambassador comes over. Hey, what's going on? How can we solve this? And you proceed to then yell at them and insult them by saying, we have to get away from looking at your fat face. I think at that moment, that point in time, they should have said, oh, you know what? Your cruise is over. And it escorted him right back down the gangway and put him right back on shore. Because if they are acting like this on day one, the ship hasn't even left. You can only imagine how they're going to act for the remainder of the cruise once they start in on drink packaging or whatever else they're going to be doing on that cruise ship. You know they're going to be a continuous problem. They should have put them off right then and there and said, you know what? You are no longer welcome and you will never be welcome again. Now, that is just my opinion. Not everybody may agree with that. That's okay. You could look at the other side and say, well, maybe he's just having a bad day and he's really stressed out. That's a possibility too. But honestly, in my opinion, why take the chance? Put him off the ship. And I don't say that lightly, and I don't say that often. But yeah, I'd have put him off the ship. Because no matter what kind of day he was having, yelling at crew members, screaming at crew members over something they have zero control over, they can't change it. They can't fix it. But he could have by simply boarding later. I don't know. What do you guys think? Was he right? Was he wrong? Must Carnival put in a smoking lounge because it's just unfair, even though the policy's out there? We know it. And the solution is so easy. And that's going to be our video for today. What do you guys think? Where do you land on these cruise surveys? Are you with the majority? Are you with the minority? Do you think the costumes in production shows are just too much? Are water slides a waste of space? Are Christmas decorations up too early? Should there be a smoking lounge so you don't have to go yell at customer service? Let me know in the comments below. I'm curious where everybody lands. Now, if you've enjoyed today's video, do me a favor and hit that like button. If you haven't done so yet, do me a favor and hit subscribe. It is free to do so, helps our channel grow. It will let you know anytime we are putting out new videos. You don't want to miss important information. You don't want to miss knowing that the costumes and production shows are going to offend your family. So hit that subscribe button. Now, I hope everybody has a really great day, has had a really great weekend, and like always, we will see you out on the high seas.